Welcome to our deep dive into the life of Neil Armstrong. We'll be going way beyond that one small step today.
Really going to try to uncover the man behind the legend.
Exactly. We've got excerpts from this biography that really digs into Armstrong's whole story. I mean, from his childhood all the way to after Apollo.
All those post-Apollo years.
Yeah. Now, you probably know about the one small step quote, but do you know that Armstrong actually always saw it as like a team achievement?
Not a personal victory.
Not at all. Really interesting that humility is one of the many things we're going to explore.
Yeah, it's remarkable, isn't it, how he always downplayed his own role, emphasizing all those thousands of people who made Apollo 11 even possible. It really makes you wonder where that perspective comes from.
Right. Well, the biography starts in Wapakoneta, Ohio.
Small town, surrounded by farmland.
Yeah, and picture this. 6-year-old Neil taking his first plane ride.
In a Ford Trimotor.
Yeah, not your average family outing.
Not at all.
And the source suggests that this is really what sparked his lifelong fascination with flight.
It's fascinating to think about how an experience like that shapes you.
Yeah.
That sense of just wide open space.
And the thrill of being airborne.
Like a seed was planted.
Yeah, and maybe that small-town upbringing is part of what fostered his personality, too, kind of that grounded feeling. But before we get to NASA, before we get to rockets, there's this crucial chapter, Armstrong as a naval aviator.
In the Korean War.
Yeah.
Flew 78 combat missions.
Intense stuff.
Absolutely. And the biography really highlights how this experience probably forged that calmness under pressure that he became so known for.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Landing on the moon.
With the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Yeah, exactly. And yet he's totally composed. It's not just luck.
Yeah.
This was honed in the crucible of combat.
The book describes him as having ice water in his veins.
That's a good one.
But even before spaceflight, he was pushing boundaries as a test pilot.
Oh, yeah.
Flying that experimental X-15 rocket plane.
Basically a missile with a cockpit.
It went so high, it almost reached the edge of space.
Crazy. And so dangerous. The X-15 was really pushing the limits of technology at the time. Armstrong faced so many emergencies during those flights. Engine failures, spins, you name it. But he never panicked.
Really?
Nope. His ability to think clearly and problem solve under pressure, just exceptional. And those flights, they were vital prep for the challenges of space.
It's like every step in his career was building towards that ultimate challenge. The book calls it the right stuff. I'm curious, what struck you about how the biography breaks down his key traits, that calm demeanor, the focus, his engineering brilliance?
Well, they weren't just inherent qualities, they were really honed through years of rigorous training and experience.
Right.
Take that calmness, for example. The book details how he meticulously prepared for every mission, ran through simulations, studied every system, anticipated every possible scenario.
Wow.
That's how you stay calm when alarms are blaring and fuel is running low during the lunar landing.
He wasn't just reacting. He was prepared to act.
Exactly.
The book also talks about his incredible focus, how he could just absorb information like a sponge, making split-second decisions with amazing accuracy.
Exactly. And that focus, coupled with this analytical mind, the biography describes how during missions, he would constantly be thinking several steps ahead, anticipating problems.
So we get this image of a cool-headed, hyper-focused individual.
Right.
It was also an engineering genius. He actually helped design parts of the lunar module.
Come on. It's incredible.
What insights did you get from the biography about that side of his personality?
Well, it's fascinating that he wasn't just a pilot. He deeply understood all the technical complexities of spaceflight. That pen incident?
During Apollo 11?
Yeah. A critical switch broke. He improvised a fix using a pen to engage the circuit breaker.
Save the mission.
Yeah. It wasn't just luck or bravery.
Right.
It was a deep understanding of the technology, combined with that quick thinking.
Okay, so we have this incredible combination of courage, focus, and brilliance. It's no wonder that he was chosen to command Apollo 11.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the lunar landing itself, but really specifically his reaction to it. The book emphasizes that he didn't see it as a personal triumph, which is fascinating.
Yeah, even in that moment, stepping onto the lunar surface for the first time, his focus was on the collective effort. He saw himself as like a representative of humanity, a whole team of people, who worked tirelessly. He even pushed back against the, quote, one small step, being attributed just to him.
Really?
He emphasized it was for mankind, a team victory.
Which makes the whole giant leap for mankind line even more powerful.
Totally.
He understood the bigger picture.
Uh-huh.
But that leads us to another interesting point. His post-Apollo life. This is where the biography really dives into Armstrong the man, not just the astronaut.
Right.
And it's striking how he handled fame. He could have easily capitalized on it, but he actively avoided the spotlight.
He became almost reclusive, teaching at a university, taking on engineering projects, but really far from the public eye.
Which is a choice a lot of people just wouldn't understand. I mean, he was arguably one of those famous people on the planet. Why do you think he made that choice? What does the biography say about his motivations?
It seems like he viewed being an astronaut as a duty, like a job to be done. He wasn't seeking fame or glory, and he was a deeply private man. All that public scrutiny was something he just found burdensome. He wanted to focus on family, on his teaching, on engineering. It seems like he wanted to continue contributing to the world, but in a way that was true to his values.
So he returns to this, normal existence, at least as normal as it can be for someone who walked on the moon.
Right.
The biography says he becomes a professor, which seems fitting given his, intellectual curiosity. What did he teach?
Aerospace engineering.
Makes sense.
At the University of Cincinnati, sharing his knowledge and experience with the next generation. It seems like he saw teaching as another form of exploration, pushing the boundaries of knowledge. He was known for being demanding but fair, encouraging his students to think critically and creatively.
And that brings us to this broader point that the biography makes. The Apollo program wasn't just about reaching the moon. It was about proving what's possible with dedication and ingenuity. It was about pushing the limits of human achievement.
Right. This is a point we're thinking about, especially now as we face so many challenges. The Apollo missions were like a demonstration of human potential on a massive scale.
Thousands of people working together towards this, impossible goal.
Yeah.
And they succeeded.
Exactly.
It's a powerful reminder that we can do amazing things when we set our minds to it.
Yeah.
And that spirit of Apollo, that drive to push beyond what's thought possible, it feels incredibly relevant today.
Yeah.
The biography specifically mentions climate change and all this technological upheaval. Those are challenges that need that same level of innovation and collaboration.
Absolutely. It's so easy to look at those things and just feel overwhelmed, like it's all insurmountable.
Right.
But the lessons of Apollo, the spirit of that era, they offer a blueprint, right? We need that willingness to think big, to take risks, to collaborate across borders, across disciplines. It's about harnessing that ingenuity that got us to the moon and applying it to the challenges we're facing now.
And maybe it starts with each of us finding our own moonshot, as the book puts it.
It's a great question, isn't it?
Yeah, that really resonated with me.
What seemingly impossible goal will you dedicate yourself to achieving?
It's a powerful call to action.
It is. It challenges us to identify what matters to us, those goals that are daunting but deeply meaningful.
Right.
And to commit to pursuing them. It's about pushing past our perceived limitations and striving for something greater.
It doesn't have to be landing on the moon. It could be a personal goal, a creative project, maybe a commitment to making your community better. The point is to find that thing that ignites your passion. Dedicate yourself to pursuing it, even if it seems impossible at first.
Exactly. And just maybe that seemingly impossible goal becomes your own one small step towards a brighter future.
We'll dive deeper into those small steps and the legacy of Armstrong in a bit. But for now, listener, I really want you to ponder that question.
Yeah.
What's your moonshot? What impossible goal will you dedicate yourself to achieving? Hold on to that thought. We'll be right back.
Okay. It's interesting to think about how Armstrong's story connects to that question of finding your own moonshot, right?
Right.
His one small step, it wasn't just a physical act. It was this symbol of human ambition and the power of working together.
And the biography really highlights how the Apollo program itself was this incredible testament to just human ingenuity. It wasn't one person, it was thousands.
All working together.
Yeah, dedicating themselves to this impossible goal. And that spirit, that dedication, that problem solving, pushing boundaries.
It feels more relevant now than ever.
Totally.
It really does.
Whether it's climate change or, all the stuff with AI.
Right.
We can draw inspiration from that.
From that era.
It reminds us that we're capable of extraordinary things.
When we all work together towards something.
Yeah. And it wasn't just about those technical achievements either.
It was about resilience.
And pushing past those limits we put on ourselves.
Yeah.
The book quotes Armstrong. He says, "I believe that every human has a finite number of heartbeats, and I don't intend to waste any of mine." That's powerful.
It is. It really makes you think about how you're spending your own time and energy, doesn't it?
For sure.
It speaks to like a sense of purpose,
Yeah.
a commitment to living a meaningful life,
Yeah.
and really making those moments count.
So how do we apply that
Right.
to our own lives?
Exactly.
The biography asks, what seemingly impossible goal will you dedicate yourself to achieving? It's like challenging us to find our own version.
Our own moonshot.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be something, big and world-changing. It could be personal. It could be a project, creative. Maybe it's about making a difference in your community.
Yeah, the key is to find something that, ignites you, that gets you excited.
Something challenging and meaningful.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe it starts with, just a small step.
Just like Armstrong on the moon.
Exactly. The biography reminds us that even the most ambitious goals, those are achieved, one step at a time.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed when you look at the scale of, everything globally.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, Armstrong faced so many setbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Tons of challenges. He didn't let them define him, though. He learned and adapted and just kept pushing forward.
He really embodies that. The book talks about how he approached everything with this mix of humility but ambition.
Uh-huh.
He wasn't looking for the attention, but he was driven to do great things.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it? It suggests that, real success isn't about recognition or validation from outside. It's more about pushing yourself to be your best and using your talents to make a positive impact, no matter who's watching.
The book also has this part where it encourages us to, really take a moment and appreciate the view, like Armstrong did when he looked back at Earth from the moon.
Wow, yeah.
It's a good reminder to just pause and reflect on the beauty of the planet and, be grateful for the opportunity to be a part of something bigger than ourselves.
To recognize how connected we all are.
Yeah.
That shared responsibility.
A little blue dot.
Exactly. The challenges that we face, they're collective challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So the solutions, they're going to need us to work together globally.
It is a pretty profound message.
Yeah.
The story of this man walking on the moon, it becomes this story about the human spirit.
Absolutely.
Our capacity for innovation, collaboration, resilience.
It's like a call to action, to dream big, to take on those challenges, and to dedicate ourselves to making a difference.
Yeah. So as we kind of wrap up this section, I want to circle back to that question.
Oh, yeah.
What will your one small step be today? What legacy do you want to leave on the world? It's like a powerful prompt to really consider.
It is, because within that question, there's potential for action, for change, for progress. It's about taking ownership, figuring out what matters, and taking that first step, no matter how small, to make it happen.
Neil Armstrong, right, a kid from Ohio, achieved something that seemed totally impossible. His journey was fueled by passion, dedication, and a belief in what humans can do.
What will your journey be?
Keep that in mind as we explore Armstrong's impact and finish up our deep dive. Okay, so we're wrapping up our deep dive into the life of Neil Armstrong. And it feels like we've uncovered so much more than just the moon landing. What are your final thoughts on his legacy?
Well, I think what's really striking is that he showed us the moon wasn't just this distant thing up in the sky. It was a place we could actually reach, explore, walk on. He really expanded our understanding of what's possible, not just for space, but for us as humans.
Yeah, he opened up this whole new realm of possibilities.
Totally.
And the biography really drives home the point that his life, it isn't just a story of the past. It's almost like a roadmap for future achievements.
Yeah, it's a reminder that the limits we face, they're often the ones we put on ourselves. By daring to dream big and pushing beyond those limits, we can achieve incredible things.
And it's not just about what one person can do either, right?
No.
The biography connects his story to all the big challenges we're facing.
Climate change, inequality.
The list goes on.
Right. And these are issues that demand that same spirit, the innovation, the collaboration that got us to the moon. It's a reminder that we have that potential to solve these problems. Just like Armstrong and the entire Apollo team, they used science, technology, that determination to reach their goal. We can do the same thing. We can apply those principles to what we're facing today.
So as we end our deep dive today, I want to circle back to that question from the biography one last time.
Okay.
What will your one small step be today? What kind of legacy do you want to leave on the world? It's a powerful thing to think about, isn't it?
It is, because in that question, there's so much potential. For action, for change, for progress, it's an invitation. It's saying, take ownership of your life, figure out what matters to you, and take that first step. It doesn't matter how small it is. Take that step toward making it a reality.
Neil Armstrong,
Yeah.
a kid from Ohio, achieved what seemed impossible, and his journey was fueled by passion, dedication, and this belief in human potential. So what will your journey be?
And remember, the sky's not the limit when there are footprints on the moon. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep striving to make those heartbeats count. I think that's the real legacy of Neil Armstrong.
That's all the time we have for our deep dive today. We hope you're leaving inspired by Neil Armstrong's incredible story and that you'll continue to explore and learn more about the Apollo program. Thanks for joining us.